Hey folks, apologies for being a bit late. I've just literally walked through the door, so apologies about that. I'll set the machine up as I'm talking. Quick one tonight, just going to do the one tutorial. Let me just turn this on. It'll complement the little, I did a crown actually in the blue to match the little blue wand I did. So it will complement that, to be honest. And I was thinking today, these would make, with Halloween fabrics, would look really, really good. So while I'm waiting for people to come on, just bear with me while I set my machine up. As I say, I've just this minute walked through the door. I haven't even walked the dogs yet, so apologies, a bit late. Hopefully I've got everything that I need. Let me just put my glasses on so I can see the needle. Hope you've all had a good day. Next week, where's my scissors? Next week I'm back to sewing lessons in the studio, so I'm hoping to still do some live tutorials because I've really enjoyed them, but I'll wait and see next week. I'll plan something and then I'll see if I've got time to come on and do it. Maybe Wednesday, Thursday morning, maybe I'll see how much time I've got. Yeah, 'cause I definitely need to prep for the lessons. All the lesson planning's done, but it's all the COVID stuff as well. It's got to make sure that that's all set up. Now, is that in there? Let me just make sure that's sewing. So organised, but yeah, busy day today, really busy day. So busy week actually. Okay, so let me just check I've got everything. Now, don't need that. I need to put that on there. Okay, so I'll go through all the things I've got. Hi Louise, hi Liz. I'll go through everything I've got and what you need to use, but basically it's a tiny piece of fabric. Probably depends how big you want your star. No, I don't think I've got, yes I have got a tape measure. Oh, it's been a horrendous week. Right, okay, calm down, I'm fine. Right, I'm just measuring that. That measures about 6.5 inches, so tiny piece of fabric. Let me pull you down actually so you can see what I'm looking at here. Okay. Yeah, I've got bits of ribbon. Now I've got my pinking shears. Now hopefully these are my good ones because the ones I used the other day weren't very good. And my sister got me some from Amazon and they're pretty good. I'm sure they're the ones. I've got these. I've got little. These are little like crystal, but they're actually buttons with the little holes in, so you can stitch them on or you can glue them on. I'm going to use a glue gun tonight. So if you've got a glue gun, that would be great, but you can stitch all this together or you can do both actually. Now make sure, obviously, because it's kids, little kids, make sure that it's all secure. Okay, so let's move all of this out of the way. Don't need that, I'll put that there. I need that, so I'll put that somewhere safe. Okay, so I found it quite hard actually to do a star. What I actually did in the end was I did just 2 lines on a piece of paper and I'll kind of work from there. So I did the top star and then I did the bottom 2 and then I played with this and then I just folded it in half to make sure that it was fine and I was happy with it. But to be quite honest, you could, this doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. So now the seamstress in me always will take that to the corner rather than put it right in the middle. I won't be able to use that, but it's just something I always do. So another tip as well, rather than struggling with all of that, I tend to cut that bulk away and just get rid of that, and then it's so much easier to cut round. So I'm going to shall I redo that and use my pinking shears? Yeah, I'm going to use my pinking shears. So, talking about saving fabric, I've just wasted it. It's going well already. Okay, let's do that again. So if you've got a pattern direction actually on your fabric, bear that in mind, that obviously at the top of the star, you want the top of the fabric. This is ditzy, this little ditzy, it's actually poly cotton. I've got about 6 or 7 colours in this, all lovely spring summer colours, and it's really, really nice to work with. Even though it's only poly cotton, it's quite a good quality, to be honest. Okay, pin that back on now. Now these would make great gifts for kids, even adults really. So I'm just going to cut round that. Yeah, these will be good ones, thank goodness. Now what you could do is you could actually sew your star up first. You could draw your star on your fabric with one of the removable pens or some chalk. Then go round it, then cut it. But I think for something like this, I prefer to cut it so I know where my seams are going to go. I actually quite like these to be precise, these ones. Doesn't need to be too big. Like I said, 6.5, 7 inches across is probably enough. Rid of all of that. Now you need to leave, when you sew this up, you need to leave a little opening. So this is my top, this is my bottom, so you need to leave a little opening here to be able to get into you know, to get your stick into, but you also need to stuff it. So what I did last time was I started here, that's my central point at the bottom, even though that's the top to you. So I started here, went down, went all the way around, and then stopped here. So it was actually open here to stuff it. And then I got it back under the machine and then I stitched it here, leaving a little opening there. So that's what I'm going to do again, and hopefully that will work. Because you want to make it easy to stuff, because these little fiddly things, they are quite fiddly. So let me just go over that again. So I've got 5 points on here, you could have more. Now I'm not going to start right in the middle, I'm going to start slightly over and then about 1/4 inch seam all the way around, and I'm going to back tack there and take it just to there and leave that little bit there open, and I'm going to back tack here. So I probably won't come back around here, I'm just going to finish it there. Okay, and a stitch of, I normally go on a 3.5, but I think I'm going to do a 3 for this one, because I think it will help, because it's only a small piece, it will help you have more precision on it. Because obviously when you're stitching this, you want to be able to get into the corners, and a smaller stitch will help that. And also it will slow you down slightly. You can slow your machine down actually if you've got that facility on your machine. Just be in control of it. Now I'm making sure that my needle is down. When I come to the points, making sure my needle's down, I can lift my foot up then, and I know that the piece of fabric isn't going to go anywhere. Let me just fix that on the top of the machine, it's pulling slightly. And again, as always, this doesn't have to be too precise. In fact, if it's a little bit uneven, it just adds to the charm of it. So you don't even have to get your points perfectly on, to be honest. Okay, now the biggest thing is to make sure that you stop at the top and remember to back tack and leave the opening. Oh, my cotton's twisted, just bear with me a sec. Let me turn that around actually. You know, when you're using, I don't know where this cotton's come from, but hopefully it'll work and it'll be okay. We're not doing much stitching, to be honest, but you know, whenever you're sewing, try use the best quality, excuse me, the best quality cotton you can afford. Now Coates Moon thread is brilliant, and Gutterman's brilliant as well. So yeah, use use the best you can afford, because it will help when it comes to your sewing. Now this is just some stuffing I took out of a cushion, a pillow. You can get toy stuffing for this. Generally, if you're using a pillow, it's already got the safety certificate on it anyway. So just check that it has, you know, any fire retardant stuff that you're going to use whenever you're stuffing anything. Now just open that up there. And the key to this is, because you've got tiny little points, is to put a little bit in at a time. It's a bit laborious, take a little while, but just use your poking tool or your knitting needle, and don't pack it too tight. Just get the corner in first. And I did with the last one, I did all the corners first and then padded out the centre bit. Now I think if you had some nice shiny fabrics like gold and silver fabrics, these would look amazing. And like I said before, Halloween, could you imagine doing this with like like a black and white gingham and orange ribbon? Would just look amazing. And then you can, near Halloween time, you can always get like you know, little like embellishments like cats and things, like generally earrings, things like that. You could always take them off that and use that on here, as long as you glue them on properly so they're not going to come out and come off. And make sure that you know, if you're giving them to small children, you obviously supervise. That's the main thing when you're making something for little ones. You've just got to be careful that nothing's going to come off and that it's safe. Generally, when you've given a child a stick, hopefully you would be with them anyway, so they're not running around poking themselves in the eye or anything. So yeah, just use your common sense. I'm sure everybody has a bit of common sense. You can poke a lot of this in with your fingers actually, and just see how I'm doing it, and just doing a little bit at a time. If you put too much in there, it'll just create a big lump, and it's going to be hard. It's just going to, you know, just not be level really. So I've got loads of I have got loads more tutorials in my head and in my diary. I spent quite a lot of time over Christmas, when I had a few days off, going through some ideas, and pretty much had enough ideas for 2 a week actually when I first started, and then 1 a week until about August. So I've probably got enough to run right up until Christmas. So there are plenty to do. But as I said, I don't know how it's going to be with the lessons, because obviously I'll be doing them in the evening and on the Saturdays as well. So let's just see how we get on. It might be a bit of an ad hoc kind of thing, rather than, you know, rather than a specific date. If I come on live, you'll be able to see. Okay, so obviously you can't get into this point here. There we go, let me show you that. So what I've done is I've put the stuffing in, and I'm using the flat of this just to flatten it down rather than poking it in like that. And then if you flatten it down and then use your fingers, what you can do then, now make sure that you come from that point back into the corner there, because we need an opening. Then get it back under the machine. Use some pins if you need to. Don't be worried about using pins. I'm so used to working with things over the years, I don't always use pins. Now while it's under the machine, I don't know whether you can see this actually, I'm going to just poke it in a little bit with my knitting needle. Just as and where you need it. It's not fiddly, it's just, it depends on if it behaves itself. And if you do go over the stuffing, it's fine, because as long as your machine will go over it, it should sew over that, and then you can just take it out. Yeah, that cotton is not very good at all. I think that'll be going in the bin. You can tell it as I was pulling it out then. Let me see if I can see. So as I'm pulling that out, when I was finished with it, I can feel that tension on there. That's really tight, and it shouldn't be that tight. So if you're having problems with your tension, check your threads first. There's always a couple of things. It's either your threads, it's either your needle needs changing. Obviously your tension could be wrong, but go through that kind of checklist first. Okay, so that's fine. What you can do if you want, you can just go over those and make those little corners a little bit smaller. Just play with it until you're happy with it. I quite like a serrated edge when you're using these scissors. They are quite creative looking. Just get rid of them out of the way. And just let me check that glue gun. Yeah, it's on. I love the smell of a glue gun. Okay, so if I pop I've still got an opening there. So if I pop that in there, you can see that that does go in there, and that's quite enough of an opening. Okay, so I'm just going to get actually a piece of paper or something so the glue doesn't go onto my table. Okay, so you can use a couple of things here. I got a dowel from B&Q. You can get them from all kinds of places really, and they're quite easy to cut. You could probably cut it with one of these wire cutter things. Just be careful if you are cutting it yourself with splinters and things like that. I'm trying to think how much that was. It wasn't very expensive, but it was quite long, so you could probably make 5 or 6 of them out of that. You could always ask them to cut it for you as well. If you don't want to get any dowels, you can go back to the these are the skewers from the barbecue. So again, make sure obviously the sharp end, make sure that you cut that off, even though that would be the end that would go up into the star shape. You just want to make sure that it's not too sharp. And then what you could do is you could glue those together. Now if you use 3, it'll go in kind of like a triangle, and then that will support itself, so you can always use that. Because the thing is with this, if you make one of these, your child will probably use it for about a couple of weeks and then it'll probably get battered or thrown away, so you don't have to buy anything specifically expensive. Okay, so let's get rid of that out of the way. Now what I'm going to do, just going to cut that off there. I might put my glasses on for this actually. So I want to now get the ribbon onto the dowel. Now try, instead of doing it quite horizontally, try and shape it as much as you can, so then you're not using loads and loads of ribbon. You just need to put a blob of glue on the end just to secure it. Just get the hold of the end of the ribbon there. Okay. Now if you can see, I've put that higher at the back, because when you start turning it, you want to make sure that you cover the bottom there, so you can always twist that round when we're finished. So we'll come back to the end in a minute. So just keep twisting it and making sure that you've covered the bit before. So as you can see, you can't see any of the dowel. And then every 3 or 4, just give it a little bit of a spot of glue, so when you come round, it's not going to all unravel. And it's really as simple as that. I'm trying to think, what did we do? We did something similar to this. Was it the, it might have been the Easter thing I'm thinking of. I'm going to glue that there. Yeah, when I did the Easter garden, it was similar to this with the, gluing it onto the wood for the little fence. You could actually, you could use tape really. I just liked this silver ribbon because it was quite glitzy, but you can use anything you want really. And just keep going around it, dab of glue. When you get so far, maybe change direction so it's easier to hold on to. Now see that, the way that's just ruched up a little bit there, don't worry about that, as long as it's secure. Just keep rolling it. Now when you get to the top, add a bit more glue, because you want to make sure that it is secure, especially at the top, because that's where we're going to be poking in the into the star. And then just a little bit of glue at the top, and I'm going to cut the rest of that off actually, just there. Okay, just secure that there. Now this is where you can have a bit of fun with it. Now I've just got a couple of, see, that looks cute as it is. I'm just going to go back onto this, and just the bit that I've left on the end, I'm just going to try and cover that end bit and just play with that and get a bit of glue under it. Just be careful of your fingers, because obviously the glue is really hot. Just, yeah, squidge it down until it's all covered. Okay, so I've got some, because I'm doing a purple one tonight, a lilac one, I've got some nice lilac ribbon, and then I've got this one as well. Let's see if I can get that knot. I'll get a pin under there. So I'm just going to see if I can get under there and undo that knot, because it'd be better if it's flat. This is just some bits and bobs I've grabbed from the studio today. I keep all kinds of bits and bobs because it's ideal for stuff like this. If you've got space at home, I always say to people, especially when they're having a lesson, you know, cut buttons off things and cut, you know, embellishments off things, and then try and save them somewhere. And ideally, you know, when you go into places like Home and Bargain and they have those kids' plastic drawer sets, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get that under, it's too tight. They're ideal for saving bits of fabric. You know, if you buy a fat quarter, like if you'd have bought a fat quarter for this tonight, you'd have some left over. So no, that's not going to come undone. I'll glue that on without. So try and keep things, because you just don't know. Thanks, Liz. You don't know if it's going to come in useful. Like most people would chuck a bit of ribbon away like this, but this is ideal for this kind of project. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the top there. And I'm going to glue the top of it. Would have been better if it was flat. Try and, because that's got a knot in it. It'll be okay because it'll stick. So I'm just going to hold it down for a bit. Again, be careful because glue guns are really hot. And I'm just going to glue that to the top. And then I'm not going to put that in the same direction there. I'm going to twist it so that goes over that way. And I'm going to glue that. So it's kind of like one goes one way, one goes the other. And make sure you've got a central. I'm just going to glue that on there. Just hold it down. Now again, glue guns are brilliant, perfect for this kind of project. I do have them in the studio. They're about, I think they're $5.99, and you get some glue sticks with them, which I think is really good. I think this one, I got this off eBay, and it's only a little one and it's a bit battered now. I mean, it's really good, but it was I think it was $10.99 or $9.99, and that actually didn't come with any glue sticks at all. I like these extra long ones because, as you know, when you're gluing they go nowhere. Okay, so this is the tricky bit now, making sure that you get it up into, where's my little hole, into the hole. So it's just going to take a little bit of, hopefully you've left a big enough hole. So just find your hole and kind of jimmy it in. Now you want to go as high up as you can. Now at first it'll feel like it's not going anywhere, but if you pull the back of the star and the front of the star and push it up as high as it will go, and then you can either glue it in the position there, which I'm going to do, or you can sew it. Glue guns are brilliant because nothing comes undone. Oh, I've just burnt my finger there. Nothing comes undone once you use a glue gun. I'm going to go around the back as well. and then just glue that there. So this time I'll use the tip of that to just stick it down. Okay, so when you're looking at it, just choose, see, you can actually see, because I've cut it before, that's shorter there than there, and that's longer, and those three are shorter, but I actually like that. I think it's a bit, I don't know, it just looks a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for, more creative, more natural. I'm just waiting for that glue to set. So just when you're actually going to stick on your ribbon and your embellishments, just have a look and turn it over and just choose your best side. Now I'm actually going to go with the side that's got the sponge on. When I put that in, I can actually feel the back of the rod there. So I'm going to use the soft side, and I think actually looking at it visually, that is my best side. So I'm just going to touch of glue there, and I'm going to put my, you can see this yet, put my ribbon on and just hold it down. Now instantly that makes that just lift. Just going to hold that down until it's stuck. And then before gluing this on, I'm just going to place it and see if I actually like it or not. And it is, I quite like it. You could put a little ribbon rose there. Now if you're using a button like this, you can either glue it on, or you can, if I turn it that way, you can see the holes at the back, or you can stitch it on, or as I said before, do both. Just as long as it's secure. And just hold that down. I'll just move that glue gun out of the way there. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to tidy up these ribbon ends, and you can either do them on a diagonal, or if you fold it in half and then from the outside in you go diagonally upwards, it'll give you a nice edge there like that. So I'm going to do a different one on each. Like that. Now you don't want these too long, because again you don't want a child putting these in their mouth and choking on them, so you just need to make sure that when you do this it's safe for the little one. Okay, and that is it really. That was super quick. What time is it now? That was about, oh, I always say that, and it's 7 o'clock, so obviously not, mind you, I did come on late today. Let me just pop that one. So yeah, so that was about what, 20 minutes to make that. How cute is that? It's pretty good, isn't it? So did I do, yeah, I might make a little lilac crown to go with that tomorrow. You can't actually see the colours on this. It's cute, isn't it, Louise? It's just it's a nice little, you can always, if you want, put more embellishment on the back, so you've got them on the front and on the back, but any little girl would love that, any big girl would love that, and it's so simple to do. Most of the time all I do is I have a look on things like Pinterest are really, really good. If you ever see anything on Pinterest and you can't work out how to make it, send me a message and I'll work out how we can put that together, and then I could probably do a tutorial on it. If it's less than 30 minutes, think anything over 30 minutes, think people get a bit bored. When I did the house, the playmat well, it was a couple of months ago now, that was over 2 nights, 3 hours altogether, and it wasn't hard going making it. I enjoyed making it, but I think anybody watching that would probably, you know, fall asleep, even though it was lovely. So yeah, so there you go. So oh, if anybody wants any of this fabric, have a look on the Facebook page. There is a Facebook shop there with all the fabrics on. It's only £4 a metre. As I say, there's lots of colours. There's a lovely, like a meadow green, there's a lemon, there's a lovely rose pink, like an old aged rose pink, there's turquoise, and there is what's that blue colour, Wedgwood. So there's quite a few. Okie doke, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I shall see you next week. Doing some work on the website tonight. My sister's helping me and a friend's helping me, so hopefully I'll get that up and running soon. I'm hoping. I'm not great with things like that, so hopefully we'll get that sorted. So there you go. Have a lovely weekend, and all being well, I'll be back on next week. If not, I'll be back on at some point, but I shall let you know. Okay, take care. Bye.